Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Jeff Turnipole, and as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the Cincinnati Bengals. If you found the show on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm up to 567 subscribers. That is awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Try to get to 600 as fast as we can. All right, this show and every show is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. All right, this is Friday, and the last couple weeks I've been inviting my friend Billy on the show. So this is Billy and Jeff's super fun Friday sports show. What's going on, Billy?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing well.
Good, man, good. So I gotta start out early here because you are a Cowhead fan, and I'm not against Cowhead, but he says some dumb stuff sometimes. And yeah, did you hear what he said earlier this week about Joe freaking Burrow about the difference between his freshman year and his junior year and his senior year and a weak arm and all that stuff?
Yeah, I caught part of it, and I did watch your show and what you were saying about him.
Right.
I get what he's saying and where he's coming from. I agree with some of it. I think he's going to struggle his first year. I think it's going to be a learning curve. There ain't nothing wrong with that. A lot of players have struggled.
Okay, struggle or struggle mightily, because he said struggle mightily. There's a difference.
I think he's gonna run into some problems his first year. And that's why I said like 5-6 wins, because you're not going to be great and then have 5-6 wins.
Yeah.
I think
that's
just my opinion. I think he's going to get some struggles before he gets better and the team gets better. It's bad defense, bad offensive line. He doesn't have him as, I think he rated him at like a B+ prospect, which is better than he gave Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, how's that worked out? Deshaun Watson's pretty good.
Baker, so I don't think he really thinks him as awful as much as he just feels like he doesn't like the team. That's apparent.
Well,
he just prove him wrong.
Yeah, I hope he does. I mean, his whole narrative was, to me, the biggest problem I have with what he said was the difference between his junior year and his senior year. All right, we know Joe Burrow got to LSU very late, at least August, maybe July. I mean, it was very late in the season when he got there. Now, one point I forgot to make when I was going on my rant was the offense, his junior year to his senior year, is completely different. It was a running first offense his junior year. Second year, I think LSU found out, hey, we got a pretty good quarterback. Let's change our offense and actually throw the ball around. And Joe Burrow thrived in that. So you got to.
Right.
So his whole thing where, he wasn't as good as junior year to his senior. Well, there's factors to that. One, he got there late. Two, it was a running offense. And then three, his senior year, they spread it out and they let him control the game. I mean, it all ran through Joe Burrow, so it was a completely different aspect and different than his junior year. It wasn't even their offense wasn't even the same. It wasn't even close. So for him to say that. Yeah. He's going to. I took it as Cowhead was saying, well, he's going to struggle because he only had one good year. Well, you got to look at the actual facts of what happened his junior year. And I don't think Cowherd or Cowhead, whatever you call him, looked at that. He's looked at the numbers.
Well, I think he looks at facts, and a lot of facts will tell you that a lot of one-year quarterbacks don't play very well in the NFL. But that doesn't mean he can't. Or, any other quarterback who had one good year. So I think there's some facts, but, he doesn't know. He's thrown his opinion out. That's fine. I really love his intangible. That's my favorite thing about him. His arm strength, I think, you mentioned on his show the other day, is correct. You don't need arm strength. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
But you need to be precise.
Yeah,
you be precise than have a really strong arm.
Yeah, that's more important than having a strong arm.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league. Peyton Manning, Drew Brees,
right?
Tom Brady's not overpowering. I mean, he's good, but he's not overpowering.
Right.
Strong arm. I mean, you can do good things.
Yeah, I'm just saying his points that he brought up to the reason that Joe Burrow is going to struggle mightily, and that's the word that I get is mightily. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is going to come out here and throw the ball around like he did his senior year at LSU. I hope he does. That would be awesome. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting, okay, I'll put it to you this way. If you watch the national championship game, the first half, Joe Burrow struggled. It took him to the second half to figure out Clemson's defense, which, by the way, was the number one ranked defense in the nation that last year. Second half, he killed him. So, yeah, I think Joe might get off to a slow start, but I don't think, the way he grinds and the way he works, and he knows that you win on Sunday because of the work you do during the week. I mean, he did that his senior year. Yeah. And that's the other thing. His senior year, he was a grad student, so he didn't really have to go to that many classes. He pretty much could just have a PhD in football. Right. So basically, he's already, what he has to do in the NFL this year, he got to do that last year at LSU. So it's not going to be a big transition like, oh my goodness, I got to do all this work that I didn't have to do in college. He did it in college. So that's where I'm like,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I could play devil's advocate, not that I agree, but if you were going to play the other side of that, people will say, well, Ed Orgeron was there, but he's not really a great coach, but he brought in Joe Brady.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like to give him credit, who he now works, I think, for the Carolina Panthers.
Right, yeah.
As some kind of he works in the NFL somewhere.
Yeah, it's Carolina. He's their offense coordinator.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, you can look, well, they had the number one offensive line in the country. They had a multitude of players drafted. They had the most players drafted in the NFL and any other team ever in the first 3 rounds. So he had a ton of help.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't play, but that's where the arguments for him come in. I get it, but I watch how he processes and how he plays, and I think it'll take him a little bit, but I think he'll be fine. I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not. And the one thing I do like, even though the offensive line is still not where I want to be, the playmakers. I love.
Yes.
I love, and Joe Mixon's so underrated.
Yes, they need to sign him.
I mean, T. Higgins was. I am so happy about that. That was such a great pick, in my opinion.
I love T. Higgins. It's a 9 to 85 again. That's great.
Right, and if you take the John Ross, I don't really count on that because he's just hurt. He is what he is.
Well, even when he's
AJ's a question mark. I mean, he's been getting hurt too. So.
Yeah, he hasn't really played a full year in 2 years, so we don't. There are question marks. I mean,
sure.
I'm always the optimistic guy, and like John Ross, I'm not very optimistic. I'll be honest about him. I mean, he is very irritating because. He's got all the skill in the world, I think, but I don't think mentally he's there because there's been too many times that I've watched games where it just seems like he just checks out. He checks out of plays.
Yeah.
I mean, I brought this up before. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. Andy Dalton's running around trying to make a play, and he throws it to Ross.
Yeah, he gave up.
And Ross stopped running. And I remember yelling at the TV, like, what are you doing? If he kept running, he would have got a first down. I'm like, dude.
And then there's other times where he just makes a great play, and you're like, I can't believe he caught that.
Right. Like,
I just think Ross gets under the category of, I've gotten away with my natural ability.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mentally, I don't know how to work.
Right.
Or I don't put in the work because I'm so used to being able to get away with ridiculous speed.
Yes. He's always been
go from high school to college and now the pros. This is another ballgame.
Yeah, he's always been faster and better than everybody else. He hasn't had to work, and I think that happens a lot of times. I'll put you
like that.
Yeah, I'll put you this way. I know you're a Xavier fan, but Yancey Gates for the Bearcats, he drove me nuts. That dude had all the physical tools you would want to be a first round pick in the NBA draft, and he never put it together. I thought he would be.
Don't get me talking about that guy.
Yeah, honestly, I thought he'd be the next Danny Fortson. I mean, that's how I thought he was going to be. But he never put it together. He never, because he didn't have to. In high school, he was always bigger than everybody else. Well, that's not going to work in D1 college.
Cam Newton's always a big name for me. I'm like, that guy's loaded with talent. My arguments with Cam is never about his talent. I never say, he's not good.
No,
Why don't you have back-to-back winning seasons ever? Why is your career completion percentage like 57, 58%? That's awful.
Yeah.
And don't give me he doesn't have people around. Good offensive line. At one time, he had 3 good running backs. A top 10 defense a lot. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, Cam Newton is
sometimes it's you.
Yeah. And my biggest problem with Cam Newton is and Kevin Durant's kind of the same way. I think they're great athletes and they're great players, but I think they've been pampered so much, and when things don't go their way, they don't know how to handle it. I mean, Kevin Durant had a burner Twitter account. I mean, remember Cam Newton when he lost to the Patriots? He looked like a hurt little 10-year-old little boy at the podium. I mean, I understand it. That's probably the worst defeat he's ever had. But
Broncos?
Huh?
Did you mean the Broncos? The Super Bowl and the Broncos?
Yeah, sorry, Broncos. Yeah, sorry, not
you said okay.
Yeah,
I was just making sure.
Yeah, Broncos. But I mean, just the way they act, it's like I understand. That's one of the problems with always being better than everybody else. One, you don't have to work, which I'm not saying they never work. They do work, but once you get more higher and higher levels, guys are just as good as you are. So you got all these skills. You got to work even harder to be better than them.
Yeah, and the one thing with you always got to be 2 steps ahead of everybody, and you can't always think the world is going to be given to you. As much as the younger generation doesn't quite get it the way me and you, because we're old.
I'm not old.
Michael Jordan. God, his dad, he always said, he was always putting his brother ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
He always had that chip.
Yep.
And he had to go through the Pistons, the Celtics first, and the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
He had to work hard. He didn't come in and, what was it, year 7 or something, he finally won?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Whatever the year was. It took him a little time. He worked his butt off.
Right.
I mean, the big mystical thing, or, the myth is, we think that Jordan automatically was this great player. I mean, he even in the draft, he wasn't the number 1 pick, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
he got kicked out of his high school team at one time. He didn't even make it.
Right.
He had to go through a lot to get where he did.
Yeah.
So, even the great depth.
Yeah, the thing is, to be an elite, great athlete, you have to work. You have to be consumed with that sport. And you kind of got to be selfish. Going, look, I got to do my work. I gotta study. Like I'll bring it back to Joe Burrow. For him to be successful, I think he's going to be, he has to consume himself with the Bengals offense and against the defenses, especially in the AFC North, that he's going to be facing. Yeah. And like I said a couple of days ago, the quarterback in general, has got to know what everybody is doing on his team. Plus, he's got to figure out what that defense is doing before the ball is even snapped. So all that work happens during the week. It doesn't happen. You don't walk up going, oh, okay, well, the linebacker's doing that, so he's going to blitz. You look at it through film study and work. And, I mean, Michael Vick even said that one time, that he relied on his athletic ability, which Michael Vick is one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. He
was ridiculous.
Yeah, he learned after he got back that, if he would have studied more, he probably would have done a little better. I mean, he took him to, an NFC Championship game at least. But it's just
with Atlanta.
It's hard. And it's hard if you are always better than everybody else. You think you're working hard enough, because you're successful.
I've always said, the further you go in, when you start high school to college to pros, it becomes more mental than it is physical.
Yes.
When you're in high school, you could be all physical and get away with everything, and in college it gets harder. It's just as you go, and that's why I've always, and I'm careful how I say this. Burrow reminds me of Tom Brady or Joe Montana.
Right.
And when I say that, I don't mean like, he's going to win 6 Super Bowls or 4 Super Bowls. Or
I have no idea.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer. It's his approach.
Right.
How he's not the most gifted quarterback, but his desire and his relentlessness is, it reminds me of both of them.
Yeah.
How they work. And they would just pick you apart. They're not going to throw an 80-yard bomb, but they'll just 5 yards here, 10 yards there. Like, they'll just pick you apart, and they can wear that defense out. So if I'm wrong and Burrow doesn't struggle, and he's able to play well against the AFC North defenses, it's going to be because he's smart, which he is, and he just will pick them apart and he'll wear them down mentally.
Right. Well, that's the thing, too, is...
the toughest thing.
Huh?
I was going to say that's the toughest thing for a defense is when, you ever see defenses where they're just getting picked apart. They start putting their hands on their hips. They get tired.
Yeah, wear them out. Right.
I think that's very possible that he is able to do that. So I will give him that.
Well, one thing the one thing he has that I don't think Andy Dalton had, Andy Dalton didn't have that killer instinct. Joe Burrow, I think, has that killer instinct. I think and that's where it's just something that's in you. I mean, you either got it or you don't, I mean, I don't know what it is. You either are going to do whatever it takes to win and have the confidence in yourself to do it, mostly because you did the work leading up to that, so you can, and or you don't. And Andy Dalton would always struggle in primetime games and playoff games, and it drove me nuts because I would always defend him because I kept hoping. I'm like, look, you see how good he is during the regular season. We started out 8-0, and then we fall flat on our face in the playoffs. And
that was the first game they lost was against Houston. It was at night on
right.
a Thursday
Yes.
night game.
Yes. Yeah, and it's I don't know if
Houston wasn't very good.
Yeah, I don't know if it got too big for him or what, but Joe Burrow has played already on the biggest stage that you could possibly play in. He played in the semifinals and the national championship game where the whole world's watching. So he's already, to me, he's already over that hump. The only thing that would be bigger for me than those two would be the Super Bowl. I don't think a playoff game is going to be any bigger than the college national championship game. I don't think a Monday Night Football game is going to be bigger than the college national championship game. And plus, I'm not an SEC fan at all. I mean, I'm a Bearcat fan, so I like the ACC. But you got to give the SEC. Yeah, I know, shocking. You got to give the SEC props. They're one of the hardest football divisions in the country, and he rolled through it. And some of the best defenses in the country. So those are the things where I'm like, did you see what he did? I mean, against who he did it? I mean, now,
I did watch. I watched the game a couple times against Clemson, and he did look nervous. And I don't have a problem with you looking nervous.
They're going to be nervous.
I already know I wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh, yeah, I would be.
But he figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the point.
My issue, I love people who can overcome stuff.
Right.
You go out there and you've been dealt a bad hand, and you figure, what I don't like is the people who have all this talent and whine and are worse and don't live up to nowhere near their potential.
Right.
And so for Burrow to go in there and kind of figure out, because he looked like he was not, and very early in the game, I'll put it that way, he was throwing it low a little bit, a couple plays that he normally makes all the time. And then,
right.
He figured out as the game went on, he got more confident, and, he made it go. And my favorite image of him is just, I don't love Baker Mayfield arrogance, but I love the cockiness that he's got that swag about him.
Mm-hmm.
He points his finger to his ring finger, put that ring on.
Right,
That's
exactly.
my favorite image of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That's just right there, right in the middle of the field. Put that ring on, it's ours.
It's over.
I love
right.
that.
Well, that's.
I'm I remember watching that game that's not going to be our quarterback.
Right. I was yelling at him that's my quarterback, baby! That's my quarterback! Yeah! It was cool.
No matter what the national media was saying, and Dan Patrick, who, by the way, is from Mason, Ohio.
I know! I'm like, oh, dude. He was one of the worst ways, because he started the whole thing with the interview with Joe Burrow at the Super Bowl. And he said, well, I don't really know if he wants to be here. What are you talking about? I watched the same interview. I mean, I didn't get anything where he said he did or he didn't want to be a Bengal. I'm like, That whole thing was just stupid.
Well, that part's behind us, so we're good.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're very excited for Burrow. And my feeling is, bottom line, I feel like he's going to struggle a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be a bad quarterback at all. I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way.
Right.
But just more of a realistic approach. It's a very challenging year for him.
Well, okay, let me preface this, because I am not saying that he's going to come out and throw like he did at LSU. Right. I'll go back to Colin Cowherd, where he said he's going to struggle mightily, and he used that word mightily, and he put it in there. That's different than struggle. Struggling mightily is Baker Mayfield last year. That's struggling mightily. You know, I think he's going to struggle. I don't know if he's going to struggle mightily. Now, Peyton Manning has got the record for the most interceptions ever for a rookie quarterback, so he struggled mightily, and then he turned around next year. So, I mean, I could be wrong. Just the gauntlet of teams that he went through last year, and he beat all of them. You know, I just cannot see. I know NFL, and we just talked about NFL is different to college. It's two totally different things. I just can't see him struggling mightily. The biggest concern I have is the offensive line. And Bleacher Report came out with something where they're suggested trading for, I can't remember, an offensive lineman for the Rams, which I don't understand why the Bengals would want to trade.
I haven't heard that one. Okay.
Yeah, I posted it it's on Bengals Nation and Bearcat or Shrubber Ice.
So I don't know.
But it's not
Did you
really.
even hear me?
Huh?
I said I stopped following you. I don't know if you heard me. I'm just kidding.
No, I ignored that part.
I stopped following you, so I didn't see it.
I totally ignored that part.
Okay. No, I've yet to read it or anything. I'll look into it.
Well, the thing is, this guy suggested we traded for this offensive lineman for the Rams. Well, Wolford's still out there, ain't he? I don't think he's been signed by anybody, has he?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know if it's a money issue and they're looking to. It might come to that where it's a money issue and they're looking at, giving extensions to so many people they don't want to overextend, which I get it, but you need offensive linemen.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if they would get Joe Mixon signed to figure it out here soon. Because they keep talking about it, but I mean, hopefully it'll just come. Huh?
I was just going to say the one thing that I don't know I talked about on your show before. This is the most ridiculous stat. Not only did he throw 78% in the SEC,
mm-hmm.
he threw a better percentage while under pressure. That's ridiculous. You don't do that ever.
Right.
On any level.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Just that stat alone.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I'll say about guys who have one good year, there has been lots of issues with that where they haven't, succeeded. Like, I mean, the Bengals had that with Achilles Smith.
I was getting ready to say that.
Right. But the difference is...
He mentally wasn't there.
Well,
bad coaching, bad team, bad quarterback.
The difference is he played at Oregon in the Pac-12. Actually, I think it was the Pac-10 then. It wasn't that good of a conference. Like I said, I'm tooting the SEC's horn, and I'm not an SEC fan, but what Joe Burrow went through is as close to NFL competition as you're going to get, and he killed him. Flat killed him.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't, like I said, I don't think he's going to come in and throw like he did at LSU. I hope he does. That would be awesome. But I just don't see him struggle. I mean, he might struggle at the first game and then he figures it out, and I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. I could be wrong.
This is my prediction. I'll end with my thought process with this. Okay. My prediction is he's going to show flashes, and then he's going to have struggles, and then it's going to be kind of up and down.
Yeah, it might be.
And I think he's going to have some problems in the AFC North because the defenses are downright ridiculous. They're really, really good. Yeah. So that's my prediction.
We will definitely find out. All right, man, I'm going to end it here.
I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about my Facebook groups that apparently you're not a part of because you don't even follow me on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I got Bengals Nation, Reds Country, Bearcats Country, and Cyclones Country. If you are listening to us on the podcast, and it's an Apple Podcast, do me a favor, give me that 5-star review. I greatly appreciate all of the ones. Make sure you like and subscribe. YouTubers, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're up to 567 subscribers. Keep it rolling. Let's try to get to 600 as fast as we can. Make sure you join us next Friday for Billy and Jeff's Super Fun Friday Sports Show. I think that's a good name. You like that name, Billy?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll tinker around and see what we can find.
We'll find out. Maybe we'll change it. I don't know. Other than that, that's just sports, baby. Tell all your friends about me. See you guys.